Number 60, we have 30 minutes left, so yeah, she would have enough time. I think they call it schools for thought because we're in a school environment. We also do a whole lot of thinking. We use our brains more than in other classes.
We're faced with different ideas every day, and we have to be real creative and think up new ideas.
I think they learn how to think and not what to think. They learn the kinds of thinking strategies that I didn't learn until I was well into college. They're creating, they're constructing things, and they're creating and constructing their own knowledge.
We're right in inner city, surrounded by a lot of projects, but our children come from two different locations. They come from around the school and also from a more middle-class area. So we have a mixture of students.
I like it better this year because we actually have to do some research. And last year, every time we'd use the textbooks, answers would be right in front of you. And this year, we get to go to the library. We have to go everywhere to like get information, and that I think that's a lot more fun than everything else.
Other classes, you sit there and listen to the teacher taught, just do the work that's on the board. It's more fun when you get to think within a group. I like doing that.
And then we took our bar graph, and then we put down mouth.
Well, last year was the first time I ever even heard of Schools for Thought. And then I watched the two teachers who were doing School for Thought in the building, and their children just appeared to be a whole lot more controlled than the children that I had. And it kind of piqued my interest, and I said, I think I might want to do this. Well, first of all, I had to find out what is it they're doing. Everybody was engaged in what seemed to be meaningful activity. By the same token, I looked in those classrooms and I saw these computers, and that was terrifying for me because at that point I didn't even know how to turn on a computer. So for the whole last year, it was, do I want to or do I not want to? And finally, I decided, well, yes, I want to do something different. Anything else? And honestly, I'm telling you, this is one of the highlights of my teaching career. I mean, I've been teaching 23 years, and this is almost like first year. I'm happy doing this. I might even tell you that I get here a little earlier now than I did last year. I have fewer discipline problems this year than I've ever had. I like that aspect of it, and I attribute this to Schools for Thought. The other thing that I like is that the children are responsible for their learning, and they take control. I mean, after all, it is their education.
They'll eat scorpions, tarantulas. They'll eat almost anything that moves.
What do they hide behind?
We started our endangered species when school started. We've done it for a long time. You know more about endangerment and the animals, and you can find ways on how you could stop it from happening.
Can you tell me a little bit why he's endangered?
It eats the same the camel does, but it can't survive as long without the food.
Temperature. We got to research, then we wrote, and we typed all this on the computer. Then we had to write a report on the habitat and the endangerments of it, and now we get to make a diorama of one animal in that habitat.
Permanent display that you're going to build. Your job as a team will be to place your habitat in this box. Your job as a team is to decide on an endangered animal within your habitat.
We don't go through life looking at subjects like we do in teaching. Everything is interrelated in life, and this classroom is interrelated just like life is.
Schools for Thought was really a godsend. It was rainwater on a desert. Constant stir. My kids have been loners, and so what Jennifer has learned is how to work in a group and interact with others. So last year I heard about so-and-so who did this and so-and-so who did that. Now I'm hearing about positive things. So-and-so is in my group, and together we're doing this. And that shows me that there's a classroom that's learning.
Schools for Thought was fascinating for a couple of reasons. Number one, they had to learn how to work together. And then secondly, they had to learn to listen to other people, and you could see them do it. You could actually watch children listening to the other children and then thinking about what the other child said and then incorporating that and then offering the next thought. So I mean, I just thought it was dynamite.
What happens in a Schools for Thought classroom is so rewarding that no matter what ability the child has, they really feel like they can do something.
I get an enormous sense of feeling that children are actually learning and they enjoy what they do.
Teaching is much more exciting if you can learn while you're teaching, and the kids pick up on that excitement. So in the classroom, our community really changes when they see that spark in me.
So what do you think?
Schools for Thought and innovative programs like Schools for Thought challenge students, they challenge teachers, they keep the system alive. They are getting our children ready for the real world out there.
It's about sharing. You know, children sharing, teachers sharing, administrators sharing, sharing with teachers in your school, sharing with teachers in other schools, and just being a part of a community of learners.
You work hard, and then you come in front of people who are like, hey, I actually care on what you did. How do how did you do this and how did you do that? Well, it's sort of exciting.
Yeah, and they watch them and make certain places.
How much research did you do before you made this? Or did you just make it? You probably...
No, we did a lot of research.
You researched? Why would you research?
I think it maybe is a better experience. The kids that were in SFT this year might know a little more and have a better idea of stuff than some of the other kids.
Schools for Thought is one of those innovative programs that we have to have in our school system, and I think we need to make it our #1 priority